You are listening to the Pushing Buttons podcast, the weekly podcast where we talk about ideas, concepts, and our opinions and experiences within the video game industry each and every week on Tuesdays.
Yes.
Yeah. Follow us, subscribe to us, and you'll be notified of any new episodes that come out, and they're always out on Tuesday. My name's Kevin.
My name's Robert.
And this is Kyle.
And this week we're going to be talking about a subject that kind of has Robert and I punching each other in the face.
With me in the middle.
And it's working out wonderfully. We're going to be talking about monetization and post-release content and loot boxes and
All of the above.
to
Microtransactions.
spend money after you've already spent money on a
Season
game.
passes.
Before we do that, we got a couple of things to hit up. Particularly, how was the week of you?
I think I want to know your week first, for once.
My week first. I didn't do a whole lot. I bought WWE 2K19 like I said I was going to. Like I said, I thought I was going to.
There you go.
And it turns out that game's hard. I played a little bit of 2K16, but this is really the first WWE game that I've played since WWE 12. And that was before 2K took it over. So the systems are... I'm still trying to get used to them. It's difficult. I'm getting better.
Is it one of those games where you have to like memorize a combo and stuff like that? Kind of like a fighting game?
Not specifically, no. There are... maybe not combos, but there's like grappling maneuvers, there's striking maneuvers, there's different types of maneuvers, and they're always done in the same way with the controller. It's just a matter of memorizing what does what and how
Gotcha.
what positions the characters have to be in. I've fiddled around a little bit with the creation tools. They're expansive. There's a lot. It's in depth. I'm excited to actually fully delve into that. I'm actually looking forward to streaming some of that as well.
It's your turn right now.
I actually want to get into the story mode of that game. This is the first one in a while that's been fully voice acted and has a beginning and end in a long time. So it's exciting to me. You create a character, start in the independent, in like a fake independent promotion, then get a contract for NXT and rise to the main roster and end up with your WrestleMania match. It sounds like fun.
Do all the actual wrestlers voice their characters?
Yes, they do.
Nice.
Yeah. There are some problems with the game. Like, I normally hate the commentary in the game. This year it's not super bad. It's bad. It's not super bad. What I hate is the ring announcing. Like, when the person's coming to the ring, and the lady JoJo who does the ring announcing for Monday Night Raw. It's super generic and super bland in the video game. It's off-putting.
Wait, what's a Lady JoJo?
The lady whose name is JoJo.
Oh, I thought you meant that was like a
The Lady
announcer.
JoJo. Oh my god, I want to make a character called the Lady JoJo.
Lady JoJo.
And be like a potato character.
Well, that's the idea I had in my head because I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too.
Lady JoJo's sound good right now.
It's been a while since lunch.
I'll get into my... Do you want me to do my Marvelous Adventures?
Please.
Yeah.
That's why I asked you first.
I haven't finished Phase 2 yet. We're taking Phase 2 a little slower than Phase 1, thank goodness, because that was a lot of movies in one night.
Yeah.
I did watch... I got to try to remember the order that they went in. So it was Iron Man 3 first, correct?
Correct.
And that was an okay movie. It was decent. It was an Iron Man movie, no different than the others for me. A lot of suits. We'll go into depth. I think we're gonna have a bonus episode specifically on the MCU.
Oh, that'd
after
be fun.
I'm caught up.
That'd be
I'd
so
love
fun,
that.
dude.
After I'm caught up through Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yeah,
That's the one that's
most
after.
current one, yeah.
Yeah.
After I watch that movie, we'll do a bonus episode
Oh,
for
cool.
the MCU.
Are you excited, Robert?
Hell yeah.
This is amazing news.
You actually interrupted him saying he was excited to ask him if he was excited. That's pretty
Well,
great.
I was trying to drum up additional excitement.
Done.
So did you love the song choice for the beginning of Iron Man 3?
I liked it more than AC/DC, if that means anything, but
Oh,
That
crap.
does.
What was
That
it again?
does.
I forgot.
I'm blue.
Dabba dee dabba die.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
right.
Because it starts with the
Yes.
flashback. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
It was different than AC/DC, which I appreciated. What was after that?
Was that the movie, by the way, where they showed Robert Downey Jr. as like a younger version of himself?
Yeah, it started off in like '99.
Yeah, so you see him like as a younger version, right?
No, that's Civil War.
Oh, that's Civil War. Sorry.
Now I have to edit this episode.
I'm sorry.
you said a naughty word.
I didn't mean to ruin that for you. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You'll get there.
What was the next movie?
Was it Thor 2? Dark World?
I think so.
Yeah, I think
that's
you're right.
Thor 2?
Yeah, that was okay. Next.
Yeah, it was pretty generic, wasn't it?
What was next?
Not very exciting movie.
Captain America: Winter Soldier.
Was Winter Soldier next?
Yeah, and then
And
Guardians.
then Guardians.
And then Avengers, and then
Avengers.
Ant-Man,
Yeah.
So Captain America: Winter Soldier is almost, in my opinion, almost as good as Captain America: The First Avenger. I liked that one more.
Wasn't that a great movie? Like, the whole idea of Robert Redford being the villain?
Like I said, I didn't care for it as much as the first Captain America.
I thought it was cool.
It was a good movie.
Like, it was a good spy movie, I thought.
Yeah,
Like, that's what made it awesome.
yeah. I prefer Captain America in the past rather than the present.
Oh, okay.
But he gets references now, so
Yeah.
yeah. Guardians is Guardians. I've seen it a million times. Great movie. And then I
Yes,
stopped
yes.
halfway through Avengers: Age of Ultron, which is my first time watching Age of Ultron, and I'm stoked to finish it at some point.
Oh, good, good.
But I fell asleep. It was late at night,
It's
which
a
for
long
me late
movie,
at
I
night is
think.
10:30. So
Yeah.
No. And you enjoyed the first half, so that's
yeah, I
important.
really did. I love that opening scene, but like I
Yeah.
said, we'll get into that in bonus
Yeah.
episode.
Okay.
That was practically all of my week. What about you guys?
Nice. Oh, well, I didn't do a whole lot this week. I think last week I mentioned I started watching Ozark.
I think
You
you
did.
said that last week you were done with season 1.
Was I?
I think
I
so.
thought I finished it last weekend after the fact. Either way, I finished season 1. I've only watched the first episode of season 2.
Gotcha.
But good lord, that is a good show.
Yes,
It really is.
absolutely.
First episode was hard to get into, but it's after that it just gets going.
It just, like, drives on through to, like,
yeah.
the craziness.
It ramps up.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, besides work, I didn't do a lot. I did start playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Been
How are you
playing
enjoying
that.
that? How are you enjoying that?
I'm enjoying it a lot. It feels really different from Origins.
Oh, does it?
Which is weird. It really does. It's a lot more RPG.
Is
And
it because of the dialogue and
The
you have
dialogue
voices?
and just the way the world is, I guess, feels a lot different.
Huh.
Like now, because I don't remember there being like stuff in Origins where you're like picking up or like mining for minerals and stuff, or like grabbing.
No, it was all loot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So in
loot,
this one,
yeah.
it's a lot more like, say, Witcher or something, where you see like a group of rocks on the ground and you press the A button to gather them, and then you got ore or whatever, and then you got a stand of trees that's going, and so that's your oak or wood or whatever, and so you're actually crafting
Gotcha.
all your stuff like that.
Most of that in Origins, I think you had to stop the people that were traveling and carrying
that's right.
that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's just like in caves, you find tons of the rocks.
Like,
and
it's
stuff
more
like that.
organic. It's not as, like, driven by the menu system.
Yeah.
That sounds kind of exciting.
Doesn't do anything for me.
But I'm really enjoying it. The game world is really beautiful. It is a lot different than Origins, just all the different Greek islands and stuff. And like the place where I am right now, it feels like 3 almost, because it's like alpine forest and
That is cool.
fall colors and all that, and it's really nice. Then you got like blue waters, in different parts, but
Wait, water's blue?
some,
Okay.
yeah.
Not here in the Pacific
No,
Northwest, though,
no,
as much.
we got gray water up here.
Yeah.
Um,
Some brown water, too.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying that a lot, actually. And that took me away from Forza. I wasn't planning to get sucked into it, but I did. So that's it,
Cool.
basically. Yeah.
Kyle.
Well, I've had a pretty up and down week.
Roller coaster.
Yeah, work was rough this week. So, gaming-wise, I didn't really do much. I tried to stream for us a couple of times, but it didn't work out very well.
Audio stuff, you said?
Yeah, like, this is a recording on Friday, so Thursday night, I had difficulty getting in the feel for playing a game. I started with Isaac, tried to do a run with Eve, and it didn't work out so well. So then I switched games to Doom. I thought maybe that would be exciting to play, but it's pretty much it pretty much plays itself. It's not something that's really strategic.
Right.
It's just mindless zombie monster killing.
It's great.
Which is why it's great, which I don't disagree with. But I actually enjoyed my week more so with watching a new show.
Ooh.
I really love American Crime Story, like the O.J. Simpson.
Okay, I got
Season 1 was really good. So Mariah started watching Versace, and I've been watching all of those right now. I'm on episode 6 now, but that is a crazy show.
Huh. I saw the trailer for it on Netflix. With your recommendation, I might actually give it a shot.
The
It's on
O.J.
Netflix
Simpson,
now.
yeah, the
I didn't know
O.J.
that.
Simpson season was like one of the best dramas of last year.
Yeah, my wife and I really like that too, and she
Yeah, it was a
usually
great
doesn't
show.
like that kind of stuff. So
Interesting.
yeah,
But this season 2 covers the assassination of I think it's Gianni Versace.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with the fashion world or anything, but the main actor who plays the killer depicted in the season, like, I could feel the malice coming from him when he plays that character. Scares the crap out of me.
That's a testament to the actor.
Like, that show nails down the killer. Like, I read up a little bit behind the story of the real life depiction of it. And I just feel like this whole season has been really more brutal than the first season. Because, the O.J. Simpson trial, that was a lot more, like, racially biased. Like, in regards to, like, how is this court case going to go? But with the Versace season, it's more about the killer and why he became
yeah.
the way he
Well,
was.
Because the O.J. Simpson one, it was the trial.
The trial
basically,
itself,
the whole
yeah.
thing, and this is going before, and it's actually showing.
The killings happen.
Yeah, so
And it was just like, holy crap. Like, they go really brutal with it. Like, I highly recommend it. It's a really great plot. And, they actually show the history of Versace as well, which I never really had a passion for fashion or anything involving that.
no passion for fashion.
No passion for fashion, but
That sounds like a hashtag.
Hashtag.
but they
Bumper
show
sticker.
you why he was so great at what he did.
Got a hash and no passion for fashion.
But it's pretty great. Like, it's from the same people who make American Horror Story.
Oh, okay.
And I actually started watching season 8 of that, too.
Nice.
And basically, I watched the first 4 episodes, but I've only seen the first 3 seasons, so I'm not all caught up.
The
with
current
show.
season is based on Trump's America, correct?
No, that was last season, season 7.
Oh, okay.
Now it's what, Apocalypse?
Apocalypse, yeah.
I've never seen any of it, but it's never
I
really
like how
interested
one
me.
leads to the other.
But I really like Sarah Paulson. That's how she got her
Yeah.
role in American Crime Story. Was because of her history with American Horror Story. But that was a really fun show to watch too.
Nice.
Gaming wise, I didn't really do much else. I mean, I have more exciting news concerning the future of my streams. Today, this Friday that we're recording, I've ordered several new things for the stream. So I've got like a Blue Yeti microphone. I'm getting the Elgato capture card. And I got a new headset.
And testing that stuff out this weekend, right?
Yes.
Right, hoping to.
Hoping to, yes.
So before
Nice.
this podcast goes up.
Yes. And my...
So if you haven't already, just follow us on Twitch so you can be
Yeah, there's...
up on all that stuff.
I'm going to
Because
be
streaming
posting notifications on Twitter.
There you go.
So please follow us at Pushing Buttons P.
Correct. Look at Kyle getting in on the Twitter game.
Man,
here.
this is crazy, dude.
At Monumentus Kyle. Yeah, what Kyle said. Follow us on Twitter at Pushing Buttons P.
And that's pretty much all I have for my week.
Cool. Well, I'm excited to delve into our main topic of today, and
Yes.
I'm going to start off by saying, while the discussion might get a little bit heated, I don't think it's going to be that heated.
No.
The podcast title is Pushing Buttons, and that's what we're here to do right now, is push each other's buttons on
Well,
this
just
topic.
don't bring up Spider-Man 2, and we'll be okay.
The movie, yeah.
The pinnacle of superhero movies, Kevin.
Just be careful there. That's a touchy subject.
So I will preface what we're talking about with microtransactions, DLC, pre-order culture by saying that there is DLC that is worthwhile, and there is stuff
Yes.
that you spend money on that I I get angry.
It's absolute garbage.
I get angry that it even exists.
Yes.
And it makes me personally want to avoid anything that the company that puts that out does, personally.
Indeed.
I'm not saying I think everybody should have my opinion on it, and I know you're the same way, Robert. But from someone who just bought WWE 2K19 and knows that the career mode is based on an in-game currency that gives you random crap, I hate that stuff. I hate that stuff. The gamble-esque style of loot boxes, people have talked about this to death, and that's kind of why it took us so long to actually talk about it, is because it's been talked about so much.
Very much.
But this is for our opinions and experiences.
Yep.
And it came up because I was talking to Robert about his thoughts on Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and I said, I'm never going to play that garbage. That's pretty much an exact quote.
Yeah.
And he said, whoa. I've liked Assassin's Creed games in the past, but Ubisoft has a very predatory stance on downloadable content, microtransactions, that makes me not want to touch any of their games. I like Assassin's Creed. I love Far Cry. The Tom Clancy games are usually really good, but every game now just kind of seems the same. Where do you want to start with this? I don't even know how to begin.
Start.
Being the middleman, I think it's appropriate for me to start.
Okay,
go for it.
Because you guys have such extreme stances.
I don't think they're really extreme.
Yeah. I'd say Kevin's is way more extreme than mine.
Correct.
That's a good point.
Yeah,
Kevin's the extreme.
Kevin has a hard line.
My view is, if I enjoy a game, if I got my money's worth out of it, and I want more enjoyment from it, then I don't see a problem paying more for DLC that I know I'm going to enjoy for a per hour by dollar basis.
So,
I look at it logically.
when you say DLC,
Yes,
you're talking about additional content added to the main game.
correct. Like expansions.
Yes.
I would also
agree.
say like weapon packs and costume packs.
I draw a line there.
I really enjoy those because I feel like I have more options in making my character unique as opposed to other people.
Personally, I appreciate when that stuff's already in the game and you can get it by just progressing through the game naturally.
Well, I mean, yeah, like back from when we were gaming on PS2 or whatever, it's definitely changed a lot.
Oh yeah.
Like, you don't get the full game anymore in
Right.
some cases.
Right.
Like, a great example of that would be Deus Ex Mankind Divided. I heard that game was really polarizing with the DLC because they pretty much released DLC to finish the story of that game. This is why a big portion of why I never even played it to begin with, but I still want to play it eventually. But there are multiple games where that's the case.
So specifically with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you've played the game, Robert.
I have.
Does it bug you that they push the store so much like it bugs me? Because they push that. Like, the first thing you see when you open up an Assassin's Creed game anymore is the store. Buy this pack, buy that pack, buy a time saver pack. Does that kind of annoy you at all, or is it just like, I can see it, but skip right past it?
I just skip right past it because it's not for me.
Right.
You know, I don't care about like costume packs and all that. You know, some people do. I'd be nice if those were in the games.
Yeah.
But I'm never going to pay extra money for that because I just don't care. You know, it's not for me.
Right.
I'm fine with what's in the game, and so it doesn't bug me seeing it.
Okay.
You know, it's not for me.
Kyle's feeling good.
I am. Wow,
I did
that
want to
really hit
ask
me
though. Origins was almost the exact same way, and you enjoyed that game, and you played it for a good long while.
I did. I bought that. Didn't I buy that on sale? I didn't buy that when it came. I bought it several months after it came out.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, I bought that on sale, knowing what I was getting into.
Right.
And I do, while I do take these stances, I also do get to the point where it's like, okay, now I feel like I can play the game because I don't feel pressured to be able to have to buy these items. And for me, it's more the fact that they prey on people with typically, not specifically Ubisoft, but yeah, kind of Ubisoft and other companies take advantage of people that have gambling addictions, or they'll see a chance to get something and be like, okay, I'll spend money on a chance to get that. I'm a sucker for lottery tickets. At least I used to be. I have to work really hard to not buy that stuff. So when I see that stuff in video games, I know I'm going to be tempted to buy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I have to be, because that's how my mind works. I see something with a chance. I love slot machines, and it seems like games know that.
See, that makes more sense to me why you would have that stance, because I don't have that problem.
Gotcha.
I've played slots once in my life, and I didn't care for it at all, did nothing for me. And the thing is with Assassin's Creed is none of it's like, it's not a mystery box or anything. You know what you're buying.
Right.
They show you. So it's there for just the people that want that specific thing. It's not like, oh, I might get a chance to get this legendary item or whatever. It's not like that. So it's, if you see it and you want it, you can buy it. If not,
Yeah.
you move along.
And I will mention that games like Path of Exile, they have that kind of stuff in there. Not the loot boxes that you get random stuff, but the same way that Assassin's Creed does, where you pay for specific stuff. Except it's all cosmetic, which I very much appreciate. But the best thing about that is that game's free. The only money they make is off of those cosmetic microtransactions. And that's the kind of game that I'm willing to spend money on when it's a free game. And these guys are like, hey, if you support us, you want us to keep making stuff, throw some money at us and we'll keep doing it. When it gets to a point where you're paying $60 to $120 for a game, depending on which of the 7 pre-order editions you want to get, and then the first thing you see when you get into the game is give us more money, that it pisses me off. It's like, I just spent $60 or more to get this game.
Yeah.
Don't push me to spend more money on it right now. Give me 20 hours with the game and then ask me.
Yeah, I would not recommend Blizzard Entertainment.
I've played every Diablo game for hundreds of hours each.
Yeah.
Hundreds of hours.
I mean, this is a guy who just bought the BlizzCon virtual ticket for $50 to get cosmetic.
Is that kind of like a season pass type deal?
No, there's a huge event called BlizzCon.
Right.
And if you want to watch all of the development demonstrations, as well as like reveal streams, as well as like like fan contests, like cosplay competitions, you can buy a virtual ticket. It's $50. It gives you access to
So
the
you can
whole
watch
event.
all the feeds and everything?
Yes. Yeah, I know. You're like, Kyle, what is wrong with you, boy?
I ain't gonna judge you, man.
That does sound like Robert.
But
What's wrong with you, boy?
I highly enjoy watching BlizzCon, so I think to me it's worth it.
Yeah.
Like
You're a big fan of the company, their games, and
yes. For me personally, the best reward were the World of Warcraft cloaks. They get one for Alliance, one for Horde, and looked really badass. That's kind of why I impulsively bought it so early, because BlizzCon's not till November 4th.
Right.
So basically, I was like, "Oh, I really want to make my transmog look cool and wow." So
Nice.
basically, I went ahead and did that. But I really enjoy BlizzCon. I enjoy Blizzard products. I used to buy Overwatch loot boxes prior to getting back into WoW.
When I talk about taking advantage of gambling addiction, Overwatch.
I'm a prime example of that.
That game is a prime example of what I'm talking
yes.
about. Blizzard is absolutely remorseless. They think that they should be void of all the controversy because they did it first and they do it, quote, better.
Yeah, I mean, I was really into it for a while. Like when the game first launched, I was like, oh, I would love to get all the skins so I can keep, having fun with the game. And basically, I was a huge fan of their seasonal events where they release seasonal loot boxes and new costumes with those seasons. But by the time I got to the lunar event, like the Chinese New Year one, that was back in like February 2017, I was like, I gotta stop doing this because I don't enjoy the game anymore. So I stopped buying loot boxes for Overwatch. It's been a year and a half since then. I haven't played Overwatch since then.
You got your 18-month chip.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I still enjoy the game every now and then, but I don't play it as much as I used to. Like Hearthstone. Like that's a whole nother category for me, which I talked about in my Guilty Pleasures portion of the episode.
Yeah. So, Robert, you play a lot of games, a lot of AAA games. I'm not saying that I don't, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. But you play a lot, and it's usually around the time they come out. Are you ever tempted to buy stuff? I'm sure Forza has a bunch of stuff that you can buy, like stuff for your cars or looks for your cars or specific cars.
Again, that stuff doesn't interest me so much.
Okay.
I did buy the gold edition or the ultimate edition of that game just because I was taking advantage of the Amazon 20% off deal before it went away.
Nice,
So might as well get the Steelbook and all that. So
Yeah.
I am getting all that stuff anyways, but normally, like I said, cosmetic stuff of any kind I usually never care for. What I like is when it's a big expansion pack. So I get the season pass for that to get a whole new experience,
Yeah.
not just little stuff for this base game that I already have.
Spider-Man's a good example of what I would consider DLC done right, where they announce it ahead of time, and they're working on it in the meantime.
Yeah.
And you can buy. There is a season pass, right?
I think so, yeah.
And it adds more content, more story, more stuff to do in the game, rather than just be like, hey, you've got some new weapons. You can dress your character up a little differently.
There's that stuff I get in the game already. It's like there's plenty of armor and weapons in the game. Why am I going to pay for more that's essentially doing the same thing?
Yeah. I played Star Trek Online for a little bit, and I think I mentioned this on the podcast way back when we first started. But I did get some cosmetic DLC for my characters because I love the Next Generation. I had to dress up my characters like they were from the Next Generation because the game's free. I wanted to spend some money on it.
I think the last time I bought something cosmetic was a horse armor for Oblivion.
Oh God, was that a joke when you did it?
Wait, you actually bought that?
I didn't know people actually did.
I think I got all the DLC for that game.
Oh, okay.
This was what?
2006.
Almost 10 years ago? Yeah, over 10 years ago?
Something like that.
You know, I'm not
I was a teenager with money to spend.
Yeah.
So I love that game.
Like for Kevin and I, we were like working at Target in our 20s. So when Fallout DLC came out, it was a big event for me. Like, because the season pass, there was like 4 different expansions for Fallout 3, and same for New Vegas. And I actually bought the season pass, and I was like geared up for those releases. So I feel like expansions, that DLC is worth the money.
Oh, yeah.
Usually, yeah.
Because it opens up new level caps or new weapons or new quests.
It's more the quest, the story, the characters that I appreciate about it. What do you guys think about games coming out with pre-orders in like 7 different editions, and you need to look at spreadsheets to figure out which one you even want to look at?
I'll tell you what.
The Ultimate Edition comes with this, but it doesn't come with what the Super Deluxe Omega Edition comes with. But look, if you get the Prime exclusive Super Duper one, you get the statuette and the poster.
I'll tell you what. Like, from when I was 20, my game purchasing tendencies have changed significantly.
Same.
There's so many games now that release with a season pass, DLC, all of the above, and it's like your $60 gets you the base game only.
Sometimes.
If you just wait 6 months, that game will drop half in price with all the DLC. Usually. That's what I do now. I tend to wait a certain amount of time, and then I'll buy the game cheap, say on a Steam sale, with all the DLC with it, and I'll end up paying maybe $20 less or $30 less than the base game itself at launch.
Yeah, and still have all the extra stuff.
Yeah, you still get all the extras. That's what I did with Assassin's Creed Origins. I bought I think it was the Gold Edition for $35, and this was like not even 6 months after it came out. I played it in June of this year. And I was able to really have a good time with it. But I just don't see the appeal of buying a game like that at launch.
Right.
I
If
mean,
you have something else that you're playing and not really necessarily going to spend time with the new game right
Like, for
away.
me, my philosophy is, if it's a game that I'm dying to play, yeah, I'll buy it day one. But for games that I'm not as excited to be playing, I'll wait.
Do you want to say, I do miss the days of when it's just like Halo 2 is the first example for me, when there's the game, $10 more, you got the collector's edition.
Right.
With the steelbook and all that.
Oh, man, those are the glory days.
That was the first one I remember and the first one I ever got. And I miss those days where you had the regular, you had collectors, and that was it. You just had a choice.
Choices.
And, it was $10 more, $20 more. Now, and like Assassin's Creed, as much as I love those games, they're really annoying with that.
There's like 7 editions to choose from.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And then now they're getting into editions where usually there's one edition with a statue. Now there's 2 editions with 2 different statues. Which one do you want? And now they're, instead of, $80 or $90, $100, now they're $150 plus. And I used to be super into statues. Last one I got, I think, was...
Man. Yeah.
I think I got the one for Assassin's Creed Unity, actually.
Really?
I think so. I think that was the last one I got. Now I just, getting married and having kids, I don't have room for them anymore.
Right.
Yeah, the space it takes up is just too much.
Yeah, I just miss having... Like Red Dead Redemption, I really wish they would have a collector's edition. But they don't. They have the GameStop, gift edition or whatever. That doesn't even come with the game.
Right.
It just comes with all the
All
stuff
the collector's edition stuff.
5 years ago would have come with the game.
Mm-hmm.
And it pisses me off.
It's aggravating. The last statuette that I got was for pre-ordering Star Wars The Old Republic Collector's Edition. And that was $120. And I felt vindicated and validated.
I bought that too when it was on sale, and I got it for like $25.
Yeah, but
I love it when that happens.
That game I was looking forward to for
a
year and a half.
Yeah, that was
years.
super hyped up.
I built a computer to play that game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I specifically bought and it's still my current computer, and that was 7-8 years ago.
Nice.
Yeah, I need to upgrade my computer.
Sounds like it's still chugging along nice though.
It does a little bit. Yeah, we're not getting as hostile as I thought we might.
I think the biggest thing we were getting hostile about the other day was when you were saying how it's making you feel like you have to buy experience and stuff to progress in the game.
Oh, the time savers.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about the time savers. Because I have heard from... I'm a fan of Jim Sterling on YouTube, on Twitter. I follow his stuff. I watch his videos. I like his stuff because he's a consumer advocate. He fights for the rights of consumers. And he's very anti-big publisher when they do crap like this. And one of the big things that he was talking about is how a lot of reviews that are out there, they're kind of avoiding talking about specific issues with DLC microtransactions because they don't want to rock the boat with any publishers, so they can still keep their relationship built, so they get the early copies and can review games. Life goes on. But he was saying that people that he is friends with at those places was telling him after the fact that they didn't like playing the game until they bought those time savers. They felt it was necessary to buy those to be able to enjoy the game at the pace that it was made. It felt like to a lot of people that if you don't buy that, you're progressing too slowly through the game, and it feels like it's more work than it's worth. But with the time savers, to me, it seems like you're paying to not play the game. And that's then another point that Jim Sterling was making, that if you're buying time savers, or if you're selling time savers, selling a way for people to skip portions of your game, you're saying that your game's not worth playing. So why have stuff in the game to begin with if you're going to be getting money from people to skip those portions? It's super greedy, and it just seems like they're telling the customer that their game's not worth playing.
Well, let's be real for a second. The only reason why those are even in the game to begin with
is to make money.
Is to pad out the length of the game, to make people go, oh, this game's 60 hours. It's totally worth your money.
That's another good point. I agree.
And it's total...
God dang it, Kyle. You're making me edit the crap out of this episode.
I'm super feeling this beer right now. You chose well, sir.
You're welcome.
And what were you going to say about it, Robert?
I was just going to say, why would a publisher not want people to play their game? What would be the goal in that?
That's the thing. They put stuff in there
because they want money.
To entice people.
If you're getting XP, you're still playing the game. You're still doing missions. You're not
playing
getting the
less.
XP, and all of a sudden, 2 hours later, you're at the end of the game. Woo! Why would somebody do that?
To play it less.
Why? Why would they pay $60 for a game to play it less?
Because time is money. It's all connected. Time is
it makes no sense.
Then why would they have it in the game?
Because they want to make money for the stupid people that do buy it.
That's what exactly. That is exactly my point.
That's exactly right. I do not.
But that's
buy
their
time
prerogative.
savers, but
any company is out there to make money naturally.
But to Kyle's point, that's why they That's why they make the game longer than it needs to be to get the full feel of the story and the universe and the characters. we
you
make the
think
game
about
longer
it,
than it needs to be
how long
to
does
entice
it-
people to buy those time saver packs.
How long does it take for a development company to add collectibles to their game? Like, how many man hours do you think?
I have zero idea.
I mean, I can't imagine it's very much.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the only reason they put those in there is to...
For people like you who like to 100% everything.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because I have no life.
No, it's not just that. It's more the fact that you need that sense of completion.
I do.
I get it.
I feel like if I can't complete the game, then it'll always be open. It'll always be on my mind. I won't have the complete experience, even though it's artificial length technique. Yeah, I just feel like I have to do it so I can move on with my life.
I did want to quote from an article that I read.
Okay.
Screen rant. They were talking about, because I guess there's a quest in Odyssey that kind of pokes fun at EA. It's like microtransactions and stuff like that, and they were talking about how it's stupid that Odyssey would do that when they're doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But the article says, it is possible to go throughout the entirety of Assassin's Creed Odyssey and never pay an extra dime. The game is generous, giving out XP, materials, and even items from its extensive armory. Odyssey's progression isn't built on the expectation that users will shell out extra cash to move forward in the game. But it says, they're not playing devil's advocate. They're still saying, yet the fact that these microtransactions exist at all is a problem, especially since Odyssey is calling attention to the exact same practice in other games. And I wanted to point that out, saying, they thought the same thing I think, which is I've leveled up like I would in any normal game. It's not slowed down for me, but I will say my friend Patrick, hi Patrick, he's not going to listen, he picked it up, and he was playing it the other night too, and there's like the first island in the game, and then there's like a bounty hunter you have to face, and he's like level 4 or 5, start out 1 obviously, and by the time I did all the missions on the island, I was already level 4 or 5. And he said he had done everything on the island, and he was still like 2 levels below me. So he's like, how did you get all that XP? So I don't know if it's a thing with certain users or something. I don't know how they would do that.
Did you buy a time saver pack?
Hell
No, he didn't.
Hell no. No.
Obviously, he wouldn't.
So, yeah, in my experience, which is all I can attest to, is it's been like any other Assassin's Creed game. I've leveled up just the same. I love going out and exploring all the different side missions.
There are a lot of people that play those games just for the stories, though. Mm-hmm. And I feel like if you pay $60 for a story, you should be able to play that story and not have to do the side stuff that is in the game called optional. Mm-hmm. But in order to do that,
I see that.
In order to have like an equal advantage to what you're doing in the story, you do have to do that side stuff. When the game lists it as optional, it's not really optional.
Right.
Well, not all the time. I mean, basically, it's your own volition to pursue those side objectives.
Yeah, but you sometimes need the XP to be able to be matched up with the enemies that you're fighting.
Does that really apply anymore?
I'm sure there are people that play just stories and not side stuff.
I feel like the only time that's really applicable is like JRPGs, specifically as a RPG. Because you have to grind mobs to get experience.
Yeah.
And that way you can progress in the game.
I could see that happening in games like Assassin's Creed. I'm not saying
I don't think so. I really don't.
Okay.
I feel like if people... This is what? 10th, almost the 10th game? Or close to that of this series?
Unless you count the handheld.
Yeah, so
yeah,
people...
It's like the 13th, 14th, 15th.
Their fan base knows why they're buying the game and what they want to do with the game. So they know that now it's an RPG. You do all the side quests. It's for people that want to do all that stuff. And if they don't want to do that stuff, it's not their game.
They also know the fan base well enough to know how to exploit, how to get more money out of them.
I mean, to bring that back, like, there's so much variety in games' path of progression. Like, level scaling is a thing now that many games do well.
That is true.
But does Assassin's Creed do level scaling?
I think specific areas have specific levels. In the Origins, that was
because I remember
the case.
Origins wasn't like that. Yeah.
Yeah, they had like each region had like levels.
Yeah.
They listed what it was on the map.
That's right.
They
that's
still
right.
have that.
Yeah.
In Odyssey, yeah.
In Odyssey? Okay. Well, I mean, I can understand, like, having to grind.
Honestly,
and that's why time savers exist, to eliminate the grind.
But they put the grind into the game intentionally.
I
That's
mean-
what. But that's the debate. That's the debate. Is that they put the grind in there for people that either A, don't want to be completionists, or B, just have money to spend.
I mean, for me personally, I don't see the point of it. Time savers. Because if you bought the game, you bought it knowing you want to play through it. Like, you're excited about
That's
it.
exactly my point.
You gave them money to be able to have the opportunity to play.
I want to play every mission I can,
Yeah.
explore every cave, get everything.
That's how we, the three of us play, and I'm sure there are millions of other people that agree, but there are probably
There's
also,
millions
on
of
the
us, Kevin.
there are probably millions of other people that don't want to do everything.
Right.
In Assassin's Creed Origins, by the time I hit the level cap, I stopped doing the side stuff. I'm like, I am tired of this BS. This is so much collectible stuff, so much run to this point, do this, run to this point, do that, escort mission this, escort mission that. I got tired of it, and I busted through the story when I hit the level cap.
See, knowing your typical video game tendencies, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I can't be the only person.
No, you're
I might be
definitely
the
not.
only person in the room, but I can't be the only person in the world.
Right.
And I will agree that it's predatory with Jim. When I say agree, it's with Jim.
I don't think it's predatory, though. I honestly think you have a choice when you decide to give them your credit card information to pay for that service. They're they're opportunistic. That's the word I think you're looking for.
No, I'll stick with predatory because they stick it front and center, flashing lights, this and that.
Well,
maybe not specifically flashing lights in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but in general, that type of.
But you have to
downloadable
see
content.
it from the company's perspective, though.
They want money.
They want money to make more games,
If I'm in business, I want money too.
to grow their company. That's the whole objective. They want to expand.
I understand, but I disagree with the fact that they need to exploit their customer base to be able to do it.
I don't think it's exploiting, though.
Other companies can make money without trying to artificially lengthen a game. You said it, to artificially lengthen a game to get people
That's
to buy
correct.
these microtransactions.
But they put that in there with the base game. You can explore those collectibles, because for me, I enjoy that, because I make my own story along the way as I complete those side objectives.
Some people just like to experience the story in the game as it is.
But then why cause a fuss over DLC?
Because sometimes if you're just experiencing the story, you need to buy the time savers to be able to get to the level to be able to beat the next story
But that's
mission.
why a lot of games have been doing, I've noticed, like adjust the story mode.
Yes,
you can
and that's
either have-
amazing that games do that
Exactly.
now.
So
It's
if you
incredible.
want to just do the story, you can play on easy. And it's a whole lot easier. You can just do the story.
Some games do that. Some companies are very smart in the way that
Yeah.
they're... I love that they're making easy modes or story modes
Yeah.
or...
I like it for like going back to replay some. You know, if I just want to
absolutely.
experience the story again, but I don't care about all the difficulty, story mode.
It feels like putting time savers in is telling me that the person that made the game, or the company that made the game, is telling their customer, our game's not worth playing, you can pay to skip it. And if you're making a product that you're telling people is not worth playing, why are you making that product?
I still believe like the reason behind it is to
Make money.
give that option to players.
It is
Because
obviously
not
it's an
every
option.
player is going to have that kind of time. Like I know for me, I like to collect those things. I make time for it. But there are certain people who may not have that time. I think of Robert and his family. Maybe he doesn't have that kind of time. Time saver. Boom. He can collect that stuff as he's playing, make his own story along the way, not having to scour walkthroughs on your phone, trying to get all these
You have to
collectibles.
spend more money is... If you want to do that, you have to spend more money to be able to play that way. What happened to spending $20 to $60 on a game and getting the experience you wanted out of it?
That's true. I mean, there's several games where the whole game was not released on launch. Like, they have on-disc DLC. A great
That is a
example.
whole nother piece of crap.
I mean, a great example of that would be like the fighting games with having cosmetic stuff on the disc, but having to pay to unlock it. That's where I draw the line. I think that's total bullshit.
So I'm glad that you quoted something, because I also had
Nice.
something pulled up to quote. And this is from Jim Sterling's Twitter. I don't praise the guy. I don't have an obsession with him. He's just a very good consumer advocate who most of his opinions I agree with. A lot I don't, but most I do. And he was getting into a debate with someone on using the words predatory and exploitative, talking about these styles of microtransactions. And a lot of it was him talking about people that were calling the other guy out and debasing the other guy, which is totally wrong. Just 'cause he's trying to have a...
Normal Twitter.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He says, as far as calling this stuff predatory, loot boxes and similar gambling mechanics already stated to exploit problem gambling and studies such as those seen in Australia are nothing short of what I call them, predatory. Again, I'll continue to call them that. Microtransactions found their popularity in free-to-play games where the trade-off for free entry was psychological sleeve-tugging to get you to pay for stuff. And that was so many years ago, with things only getting more manipulative since then. Games like Dead Space 3 had their entire gameplay loop altered to house them.
It's a great example.
Games have been deliberately unbalanced, Shadow of War, Star Wars Battlefront 2, in order to make microtransactions appealing. This is nothing short of exploitative. They're making games worse while asking for more money. And he goes on, but that's where most of my viewpoint comes from.
I understand that, because for me, Dead Space 3, in particular, the whole game was a mess. Because EA decided to exploit their fan base for the series by having them buy into this artificial collectathon for ammo. Because in Dead Space 3, what they did was they made all ammo you get in the game universal. So there was no management of resources for a survival horror game. Basically,
isn't that the basis of a survival horror game?
Yes, and that's why Dead Space 3 suffered as a sequel to a game series that was already established as a survival horror trilogy. What EA did was exploitive, I would say. Basically, everything you would come across in the game, it would feed into that system of microtransactions. Because there were certain doors that were locked where you'd have to collect, say, a power node that's a collectible in the game. And you can't open them all because you have to use power nodes to also upgrade your weaponry. So it gave you a choice.
But you could buy them with money, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And, there is a way around it. Basically,
pulling up the dev console and saying plus node, whatever.
I'm trying to think of an example, but the only thing I can really think of is a companion app for a game where if you send your minions on missions, they give you resources back to use in the game.
Right, okay.
You can do that with Dead Space 3. But
Really?
within the game, you have these things called survey bots or something like that, and you send them out on missions.
They've done that in Assassin's Creed too, where you send your ship out or your crew out to do your brotherhood. To do
exactly.
Other assassination
World
missions.
of Warcraft does this as well. Basically, you send them out to get resources by scavenging.
The Old Republic did that too. You sent your companions out to do specific missions
And basically,
to get resources.
it just really sucked because you had to wait hours to get resources to access areas of the game that were locked behind that paywall.
Or you could buy a time boost, a time saver.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel like in that particular genre of gaming, microtransactions had no place being there. It should have been sold as a complete adventure, start to finish. But you had to wait hours for these robots to find resources to carry you forward in the game. It was total crap. And that's what made Dead Space 3 so disappointing.
I'm just of the mind if you pay full price for a game, which who knows what full price is anymore. If you pay the price of admission, you should be able to get a full experience. If you feel like you need to spend money, or if they feel like they need to sell you ways to get through the game faster, it seems useless to me. Cosmetic items, I am all for people selling cosmetic items for their games. I'm a sucker for cosmetic items in games
me
that
too.
I love.
Yeah.
It's a great way to support games that you love, and it makes you look cool. It's about the cool factor online.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see Bethesda doing the crap out of that with Fallout 76.
It will happen.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I know it's easy to look at games with microtransactions and say, they're not for me, so why do I care? And I used to have that opinion. I really did for a very long time. And then I got to a point where it's like, well, now this is starting to bug me because it's getting to become a trend, and now it's expected, and it's just getting higher and higher, elevated. It's more and more each time. And when's it going to stop? What's the limit? When are they going to stop pushing this stuff?
Never.
Or when are they going to start pushing more stuff? When is it going to be where you have to fight through menus of the store to even be able to start the game?
I mean, that's the trend that's currently taking off. Like, I'll ask both of you, like, which game do you feel like epitomizes your stance on the whole topic? Like, which is like the shining example
Of it done right?
done right and a done wrong?
I mentioned Path of Exile. Perfect
Yes.
example.
Well,
They have
how about
tons-
done wrong?
Let me gush about Path of Exile for a minute.
Yes.
They have tons of microtransactions, tons, but the game is free. The game's free, the game's free, the game's free. Done wrong. You can point
Battlefront 2.
Yeah, you can point
Somebody
to any.
was gonna say,
you
yeah.
can point to any current EA game and say that that's probably done wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not on the EA hate train, just that they have a track record for a reason.
How about you, Robert?
Like I said, I usually don't pay attention to that stuff, so I...
God of War, not having microtransactions or DLC. I kind of want DLC for that game, like
I
expansions.
mean, I do too.
But I'm also willing to wait another 5-6 years for a sequel.
I will say, like, if Spider-Man had a pack of extra suits or something, that is something I might have bought.
There you go. That's what I wanted.
And cosmetics I can look at and be like, that's not for me. I
was
can do
hoping-
that.
That game I might have.
I was hoping you'd say Witcher 3, because you played the expansions.
Yeah.
I mean,
We've all agreed that expansions are good.
Yeah.
I can pay money for
but what
expansions.
CD Project Red,
Good job.
thank you.
That took some extra effort.
They released cosmetic DLC free.
That is, yeah,
Remember?
that's a good point.
That is
was
weird.
that 18 pieces of free DLC?
Yes. when the
There's
game launched.
missions,
Yes.
cosmetics.
What?
Oh, yeah, you never heard about that?
In 2016, 17, 18?
2015.
When it came out,
Holy
they announced
balls.
that there was going to be 2 expansions,
Yep.
but there is either 16 or 18, I think,
Free pieces of DLC.
that were coming out over the
Yes, and they're mostly cosmetic.
I've totally forgot about those.
But I want to say, like, I
That
feel
was-
like
that was bravo. On
Yeah,
That was
CD
Bravo.
Projekt Red.
You
Good
know-
on them.
like I feel like I know they're going to be pressured to do the same thing with Cyberpunk.
See, but that's the thing. They're independent. They publish their own stuff, so
Correct.
they don't
Yes.
have anybody pushing them besides whoever their board of directors might be.
I mean, God, I can feel it. I know what's going to happen. They're going to release the game. They're going to be like, here's some free stuff. And basically, it's going to be cosmetics. Like, you know how they were going over, like, the clothing
Stuff for
you
your
wear.
car and for the clothes.
Yes,
Yeah,
like that'll
yeah.
be free and weapons and stuff. And of course, they'll release their big expansions. And that'll be something you pay for, but that's like a whole new experience.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm okay
I
paying
feel
for that
like,
stuff.
Like, that's great.
Yeah.
Like, we need more of that.
That's what games used to be. Games on
mean-
PC, any RPG that you played on the PC back in the day, Neverwinter Nights, Diablo,
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate, any of those, they had expansions. They released them for a portion of the price of the game because it was additional. The first expansion I ever bought was Hellfire for Diablo, and I don't even think that was made by Blizzard. I think that was Sierra that did that.
I mean, it's really hard to draw a fine line in the sand because there's so many varieties of DLC.
If it's value added, charge money. If it's not value added, don't charge money.
I mean,
Line in the sand.
you could be someone who buys everything, and you'll end up spending hundreds of dollars more than what the base game is. And you'll probably find the same amount of enjoyment. I don't have a fault with that. I feel like the fault is with the people who decide to buy bits and pieces of it to justify their own gameplay experience. And then they use that in turn to, say, for future gaming installments, to have that thrown on them from developers. Like, they'll see
You
that-
lost me a little bit.
Yeah.
No, basically, if someone buys, like, say, one piece of DLC, it tells the developer, okay, someone bought this, we can add more. And over time, that'll happen. But basically, for those of us who buy every piece of DLC, that the developer's saying, okay, this guy gets it. He's on board with our plan to buy everything. So we're going to cater more to the person who buys 1 or 2 pieces. That way, we can expand our DLC reach.
That's where you and I differ. You're blaming the consumer. I'm blaming the developer.
I do blame the consumer. Absolutely.
It was a consumer-driven
I'm guilty
problem
of this.
that is now exploited by the publisher and the
But
developer.
we fed the developers and the publishing companies this. We
They-
bought the special collections.
That's why he said that.
Yeah, we did it,
Consumer
and now they're taking
problem,
advantage
yeah.
of it.
It's because of our spending habits. I feel like it's not the developers or the publisher's fault. It's because of us as a consumer, that consumer mentality. That's what's feeding into this.
I think it started it.
It started it.
And then they're exploiting our consumer-driven economy. They're exploiting it
I mean,
by releasing more, and these microtransactions are
I
just
feel
a further
like the
example
people
of
who
it.
buy everything, that's like the top 5 or 10% of consumers. Like,
Super
it's such a
fans.
small number.
I'm okay with buying. Back when Mass Effect was good,
Yeah.
I was okay with buying everything to do with that. I bought comics, I bought books,
Exactly,
I got
yeah.
the standee for Mass Effect 2 when that came out before I
Nice.
realized that was a piece of garbage game.
I mean, it's our own consumer spending habits that we've been programmed with since being kids. I mean, it's like a cycle. It's basically feeds into one another. I'm kind of going out of topic.
No, you're not
That's on
actually.
topic,
Yeah, you're completely on topic.
I mean, I feel like I'm going to the bigger picture.
You see what I'm
Basically.
saying, though, Robert, don't you? At least
Yeah.
in my response to him is that,
Yeah.
I agree that it was a consumer problem to begin with.
I mean,
But now
yeah,
they're
and I-
taking advantage of it.
I
yeah.
can agree with that. Yeah.
I mean, it's because of us that this happened to begin with.
But they don't need to be taking advantage of this. They can be saying, "Whoa, guys, I know it's a business; they need money, but they can charge what they feel is necessary for a game and not take
But-
advantage of people spending extra nickels."
But
and
it's
dimes
either
along the
that
way.
or games go up in price initially. Because, I mean, we've had $60 games for like over 15
But
years
nobody's
now.
told these companies to spend millions of dollars and have thousands of man hours and hundreds of people working on these games.
But it's basically because
They've done that.
they've had the same prices
Done that
for
yourself.
so long.
Exactly.
The price of games has been like stagnant since I think it's like the PS2 days.
This could be a whole nother discussion. It does tie in. Absolutely. I agree.
I mean, and like if you think about $50 back in the day with inflation,
Yeah, that's like $120 now.
Yeah,
I get it.
And
I get
it's not the same price from back then.
No, I know, but the people that use that argument saying that they should just increase their, if they do that, especially at this point, they're going to charge $120 for a game and then have even the same amount of microtransactions in the game because they
See,
think they can have
I
her
don't-
cake and it too. That might be a Jim
That-
Sterling quote. I don't know if that's accurate.
I think that's where we hit the brick wall with this conversation. That's where we're at. That's the point where we decide moving forward.
No matter what we do as consumers, the people that make the product are going to take advantage and try to make more money.
I feel
I'm
like
a salesman in my profession, my day-to-day profession, and
Exactly,
I do not
yeah.
take advantage of somebody when they need something. I feel like as a person, as a human being, especially even a salesman, building a rapport with your customer, building that trust is much more valuable in the long term than getting $100 out of them now. Because
But-
you can get $50 from them later, $50 after that, $50 after that, and have them keep coming back to you. Build that trust, build that rapport, keep getting money in the long run, rather
But-
than just get it all now.
But do we need video gaming as a product for our lives? Is it a necessity for
No.
us to survive?
No.
Then that's where we're at.
I like that. That's where we're at.
We're at
This
It's
is
not-
this is our hobby. This is what we do.
It's
for
not
fun.
it's not necessary for us to live our everyday lives. It's a choice. It's a hobby.
And we
it's
choose
not-
how much money we want to put into it.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Thank you.
I still don't think it's the consumer's fault.
We fed into this. It's the culture we created. because we were so obsessed with having everything with the game. Now that it's bled through everything, all sorts of media. That's where we're at.
I don't see additional chapters for a movie being charged. $250, and you can get this behind the scenes footage.
I remember pre-ordering a PS2 game, and you get so much free shit from it, and now you don't. You just get the base game.
It's because people, like you were saying, they know that people want it, so now they know that they can charge for it.
They're taking advantage of us.
That's the definition of exploit. Now we agree. Boom, podcast.
There's the wall. There's the wall.
It's our fault that this happened.
They don't need to take advantage of it, though.
We didn't have to do this.
He's been agreeing the whole time. Consumers started it.
It is.
We're saying the same thing, just with different results.
It's because of these beers, man.
I'll say, yeah, my last thought is, if someone pays for time boosts and all that for a game they already bought intending to enjoy it, then they're just stupid. And
I disagree.
sure, I agree for Ubisoft to take their damn money because they're idiots.
It gives us more
I buy
choices.
the game, and I hope everyone should be like this and be smart. You buy the game because you want to play it, all of it. And you don't care about paying to make it quicker, because why the hell would you want to do that? Why pay $60 for a game and then try to beat it quicker?
The first 5 games in the
it's our
series
choice,
were
though.
10 to
We
12
can
hours
pay
long,
for that.
and
It's
now
our
you're expected
convenience.
to spend 50 to 60 hours in these games.
Because every game's going that way, almost.
Everything's
Everything's trying to
so
be bigger
huge
and
now.
faster.
It's ridiculous.
So that's my last piece. People that spend money on that are just stupid. And developers, sure, take advantage of
But
them because they're idiots.
it's a choice. Like, we are given more choice as a consumer in this particular field of
We're given a choice to spend
product.
X amount of money or X plus Y
We
amount of
don't
money or
have
X plus
to,
Y plus
but
Z
that's
amount
why
of
it's a
money.
good thing.
We're just all three. We all three agree on what is happening, and the reasons for it. Just have different outlooks on.
Pessimism and
It's not. I don't think I'm being pessimistic. I'm angry, is what it is.
Right.
I'm
And I got
not.
fired.
I'm happy with the way it is because I feel like everything that we want from a game, we have the choice. We have that to experience more with the game.
But you were saying yourself how you enjoyed spending less money to get that same amount of stuff in the PlayStation 2 days.
That's me being a consumer. I'm a smart consumer. I'm not the type of consumer that blindly buys everything. That's, fed to me with a shovel,
I think, yes.
I'm drunk.
It's yes, it's stupid that they put it in there. Do I wish it wasn't there? Of course.
Yeah.
But it is. It's the nature of the video game industry. It's what it is.
It is
I
what
don't
it
have
is.
to fall for it, and so it's
It's the choice that gives you power. That's what I'm trying to push
I
onto
don't
people.
think there should be a choice to begin with. Is my-
No, that's bad though. You want more choice. You have more freedom.
it's gonna turn into an episode of Black Mirror.
I'm very excited. This is the most pushing buttons episode of pushing buttons that has existed so
I'm
far.
trying to deliver.
It's been great.
Kyle's been way more enthusiastic than I thought he would be. Mr. Neutral.
I think in about 5 to 10 weeks' time, we'll hit on this topic again.
We will.
And we'll probably all be saying the exact same stuff that we're saying now. I am kind of hesitant to say this, but what do you all think of this topic? Please kindly let us know. Have discourse like what we've been having here.
Healthy.
It is healthy. We're not angry with one
We
another.
still love each other.
Exactly. These are my
Always.
2 favorite people in the world, besides, of course, Ashley, I love you. And all you listeners, too, I love you as well. But thank you for listening to this podcast, however you're listening to
Cheers.
this podcast. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you'd like that sort of thing, you can feel free to do that. It's cool. Hit us up on Twitter, @PushingButtonsP. Follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/pushingbuttons. I almost forgot that for a second. I'm talking really fast right now. Thank you for listening to the podcast. I really listening to the podcast. We'll see you next week.
Adios.
Good night.
Love you.